Happy first day of December, everyone. Hope everybody's having a good Monday. It is frigid outside. The temperatures are cold. It's kind of damp. And Brendan says, been a while since we've had a winter weather stream. Yeah, we got a little bit of winter precipitation today. Maybe some of you saw some sleet. Let me know in the comments. And I think we do get a little bit of a light snow band possible, a band of snow that's developing this evening, going to be moving in later on tonight. It's about maybe 7, 8 o'clock in the evening. It's not going to be very heavy, but still could provide a little bit of light snow. There's still a question if it holds together. I think Southwest Missouri is going to get it. So let's dive in and take a look at what we got. But feel free to comment away on if we saw winter weather. Notice the beard is gone. It's December 1st. So I'm going to be wishing I had that beard for the Fayetteville Christmas Parade. The Christmas Parade is going to be so cold. It's going to be right around freezing with wind chills in the mid-20s. Maybe another round of wintry precipitation for Thursday afternoon, evening. We'll see how that happens. But so Eric saying had some sleet in Beebe. I know we had some sleet in Fayetteville, and it is winter for the next few months. Yeah, well, we actually warm up on Tuesday afternoon and Wednesday. We get above the 50s on Wednesday, but not much, but enough winter weather CR to still see some issues on the road. So yeah, it was cold working on it in the crew. So some sleet in Fort Smith this morning. Well, let's take a look first of all at what's happening on Heil Heating Cooling Mega Doppler. I want to provide a quick update here. We'll do this over the next 15, 20 minutes before I'm getting ready for the 5 o'clock newscast. So here is Heil Heating Cooling Mega Doppler. And again, we got it in winter mode. And you'll notice a little bit of some light precipitation that's moving in. It shows as snow, but sometimes it was falling in the form of sleet, even some freezing rain in spots. If we take that off, you can see just a little wave coming through. Now there is this back edge. This is in fact all snow. There's no doubt about it as colder air is wrapping around. But notice how it's kind of falling apart when it's a little bit to the west of Tulsa. So this could be an issue in terms of keeping that winter precipitation around. Cindy says, I'm moving to St. Thomas. That would be definitely much warmer there. You can't tell if it's grapple or sleet. So if it's very soft, that's grapple, Brendan. But if it's hard and it hits the ground and it sounds like little ice pellets, that is in fact sleet. So had some sleet in Rogers, says Michael. Was just outside. There's frozen rail pellets all over the ground in Bentonville. I think that is most likely sleet, but it could be some grapple. Remember, grapple is precipitation that's snow that was partially melting and then collecting water droplets on it. So what I like to always say is think of a nerd's gummy cluster. You know, the gummy cluster in the middle is the snowflake, and then the little water particles are the nerds on the outside. And so that's a great way to remember sleet. And when you pick up a gummy cluster, you can see all those little dots, those little nerd dots all over it. So, but there's that energy moving in, and we'll take a look at some of the models, and you can see how it's holding together somewhat. Now, this is from the radar in Tulsa. We'll move this camera over here so we can, it's just me, by the way. Aleshley's on in the morning tomorrow. And then we've got Davion that was on last night. So your grapple, you didn't spell it right. It's Graupel. It's got a GRAU instead of GRO, but that's cool. No worries. So let's go over here real quick. We'll take a look at Mega Doppler. See this little patch of precipitation that's starting to clear out. We know another wave of energy is moving in, and so I do believe that we will get a little more precipitation. Let's take a look here at the HRRR model. We'll load this up. And I've been looking at some of the longer range models too. This will be the hourly, if you will, the hourly HRRR. Had some sleet in Rogers. I agree with that too. Says Wyatt Puck saying that. But let's take a look here at this little band. I think a little bit of light snow will develop tonight. And on top of that, the temperatures are going to get a little colder. So looking at what I'm seeing with this upper low that's coming in, this makes perfect sense. And like I said, around 7, 8 o'clock in the evening, lasting until about midnight. there could be, even though the winter weather advisory has officially expired over Benton and Washington County, there could be a winter weather advisory that gets reissued for Monday evening for this little band of precipitation. It's just to see how it's going to kind of evolve. All models are indicating this. And when we look at the upper level energy moving in, it makes perfect sense that we will get one more band of light wintry precipitation. Let me show you this with the graph. Even though the graph doesn't have a lot, it still does have that little snow band coming through. And like I said, a dusting at best, maybe a little bit more in southwest Missouri. What I mean by dusting is like a half inch. Probably going to be less than that in northwest Arkansas. Let's take a look at the NAM 3 kilometer here, some of the higher resolution models. And so there you see that little batch of precipitation. So what's causing that? What's the reason for that? Well, we'll take a look here at the satellite and radar, and you'll get to see this energy that's moving in. So like I said before, I do think that we will see a little bit of another band of light snow. Now, let me take you back to the last 18 hours. So we'll show you as this energy moves in, sporadic showers and even some sleet pellets. And this shows a lot of snow. There were some snow flakes that did fall, and there was also graupel too. You can tell it was more graupel. So this is just a mixed bag of wintry precipitation. I can show BB. Yeah, we can zoom into BB here. So we'll go in northeast Arkansas. Trying to remember he's out. There's Oil Trough. There's Bradford. There's Diaz. So BB is a little bit northeast of there. It might not be one that we have regularly, located on here. Let's see. Bald Knob. There we go. Sorry, I just had to get my bearings. Northeast of Little Rock. So here's BB right here. So as we go into the late morning, into the early afternoon, this is when that energy moved in. So you must have gotten those BB, Eric, right around probably, I would say, 10 o'clock. There it is right there. It shows kind of a mixed bag of precipitation. And then it kind of moves out. Now, here's the thing. We're in winter mode, so I've got to put on here the satellite and radar. And let me go ahead and put the precip type banner on there. Because now, guess what? It's precipitation type again. So I'm going to zoom out just a little bit more so you can see. So northeast of Little Rock, there's that one wave that came through. There's a second wave. So you've definitely had some precipitation. Now, one of the things is that we've had some pretty dry air in the lower levels of the atmosphere. No, I got you. I just had to get my bearings there, going up 67, 167. Yeah, that's the thing, man. Winter precipitation, it's really hard to define exactly what it's going to be, when it moves in, because it all depends on those temperatures and the different temperatures aloft. But that's why we got the sleet. So anyways, we can see this last batch and the band of snow that's developing. Now I want to, even though it doesn't show much now, remember, we still have more energy. If we look at the water vapor, you're going to see a very clearly defined upper level low. And so there's the upper level low that's coming through Oklahoma City right now. So on the leading edge of this is where you get the strongest lift, and this is where your greatest chance for more banding of snow could develop. And even though it doesn't show much now, that could fill in a little bit. And I do believe that later on this evening, we do get a little more snow. I think it's going to be more snow than anything, just because if you look at the way the upper level low is, there's colder air aloft at that point. So the temperatures are also falling. Let's take a look at what the current temperatures are like. That's a great thing to look at right now and see where we're at, because that's really important too in terms of what is making it to the ground. And, be honest with you, the temperatures were just cold enough to provide some issues on the road. So let's take a look here at first of all, the Northwest Arkansas temperatures. So we've got 31 in Rogers, 32 elsewhere, and 33 at Drake Field. So it's just tiny bit above freezing. But once that sun goes down, we'll lose the solar insolation, even though we haven't had any with the clouds. It'll still cause those temperatures to cool off a little bit. Plus, we have the northwesterly wind. We're in the mid 30s in the River Valley, so it's been a little above freezing. And then you see 29 in Harrison. So some colder air, which is exactly why the winter weather advisory lasts a little bit longer in the higher elevations of the Boston Mountains. And that's for the National Weather Service out of Little Rock. So let's take a look here. There's the winter weather advisory, and you'll see the winter weather advisory for Southwest Missouri is going to go until midnight tonight. Then you got, because of that band of light snow. Then you got a winter weather advisory that goes until 6 a.m. for Boone, Newton, and Johnson County, and Logan and Scott County until 6 a.m. That's the Little Rock National Weather Service. And I do believe there still could be another one issued depending on how that band fills in. But I do think that we will see that potential for banding to develop. Here's someone saying a lot of the base iPhone, Android weather apps will say precipitation is snow if they have temperatures close to 32. And if they model, you say it's supposed to be snow regardless of what's actually happening. That's so true. So with this little gasp of energy coming in, we have to expect anything, though. I'm not trying to overhype. I just know Mother Nature likes to play games with Northwest Arkansas. No, I do think we will get a little more light snow. I think that's going to be very likely across our area. And if we look, you can see that precipitation is still filling in. So, and this is from the radar in Fort Smith. If we look at the Tulsa radar, you'll see it kind of disappear. And that tells you right there, there's still some dry air that has to be overcome. So that dry air is sublimating the snow. But if you'll notice, we work our way south, and if we go to the radar in Oklahoma City, it just doesn't really show much. So there's some dry air to overcome, but we already have done that here in Northwest Arkansas. So I would not be surprised in the least if we get just a little bit more of a band of precipitation that moves in. You can see the upper level low. So that is going to come in. But it doesn't take much to cause issues. There were some issues on the interstate. I'm looking right now. Let me show you one of the more notorious spots for bad travel. And that is going to be just north of 412. This spot right here, as I'll show you in just a second. Let me bring this up. So this is iDrive Arkansas, great resource. There were some accidents. There was a 2-vehicle accident that occurred. I'm going to take the camera off the screen in order for you guys to see this, but it was right here in this location. Here was the area that the accidents occurred. So when people are driving north, they hit this spot right here, just north of 412, and there was a 2-vehicle accident that backed up all the northbound I-49 traffic. And there were some accidents southbound too as well. But yeah, we did have just a little bit of issues on the roads. Obviously, everything's going fine now for the evening commute. But later on tonight, between 7 to about midnight, I think we'll see a little bit of a band of light snow. Not a whole lot, but enough where I think there could be a little bit of a light dusting on elevated surfaces, car hoods, rooftops, those kind of places. Let's take a look here at that precipitation amount. And then you can see I've got it going up to 30%. I think that fully makes sense with that banding that's coming in. River Valley, not as much, just because they'll be a little bit farther south. However, we still have that potential for a little bit of light precipitation, but I dropped it down. Kathy's saying burr. It is. You remember a week ago, it was so warm, and we're just like, this is not going to last into the first part of December. And it hasn't. But as far as a giant crippling snowstorm like some of the models had 10 days out, that's also not happening. So we'll zoom out here a little bit wider. Now, it has been quite a snowstorm in the Illinois and Indiana area. But around here, we just have this dry air to overcome. There's so much that goes into a winter storm and the winter weather potential in this area that just you got to make sure all the all the dominoes are lined up. How about Jake Fury on here? Thanks all as always. Appreciate you, man. Long live Mega Doppler. Appreciate it, man. Long live Scott. We got to get together, Jake. Got some time off in December. We'll make it happen. Love to catch up for sure. Hayden Herrera talks about the good old days, who's with the Pig Trail Nation now. All right, let's take a look at some of the weather headlines. I already put together the forecast. I can tell you, the Christmas parade is going to be very, very cold. So if you're going to Fayetteville's Square and going to the Christmas parade for December 4th, the Lights of the Ozarks holiday parade, it is looking rather chilly. So be ready for that. Here's a look at the weather headlines as we take a look at a band of snow likely tonight. We'll see that a light dusting will be possible in parts of northwest Arkansas, and I'll run you through the different computer models here in just a second. Not as cold for the afternoons on Tuesday and Wednesday. In fact, we get into the mid to upper 40s on Tuesday, tomorrow, after a frigid start to the morning, and then highs will climb into the lower to middle 50s on Wednesday. However, another cold blast is coming for Thursday, and we'll take a look at that temperature drop that's coming shortly. So let's take a look at some of the snow totals and the snow accumulation. It's not a lot, but all models are pretty consistent with having at least a little bit of light snow potential. So here is the latest HRRR as we load this up. This is the local one. And I will say that the HRRR didn't do the best job, like, what was it, Friday night or Saturday night? And also some of the long range models didn't do as good either. But here's a look, and you'll see right about this time, 7, 8 o'clock, there's that band of light snow that comes in. The farther north you go, the colder it will be, the better chance that it'll stick, and also the more energy that we have. And then you can see as we go into our Thursday morning, it's gone. So basically, this is Monday evening. There's just that slight little band of light snow that will be possible. Let's look at the graph model here. And remember, this is more focused across northwest Arkansas. So I think here you see it again, right around 5, 6 o'clock. You can see that band of light snow. Now, Caitlin, great question, but way too early to say, to be honest with you. And anybody that's telling you otherwise is completely just guessing. It's just 100% a guess at this point. No one knows. I mean, you can have an idea 2 weeks out, but this far out, a full month, boy. We're due. I know this. We're due in terms of a white Christmas. There's no doubt about that. What was the last time it snowed on December 1st? I want to say that last time that we had actual snow accumulation in December was 2013. That was a big storm that we had. It was the first week in December, and it was a doozy. That one was crippling because we had like a wintry mix, and it was heavy too, and there was some heavy snow as well. So that was I can't remember the exact date in December. I want to say December 3rd, but it was a big one. It was the first week in December. And in fact, in that winter, we had December of 2013, 2014, January, a big winter event. And then February 2nd, 2014 was the Groundhog Day snowstorm. Also Super Bowl Sunday, too, which caused an issue for the Super Bowl parties. There was definitely quite a bit of snow that fell that morning, late morning into the afternoon. Okay, so there's the graph model. I'm going to show you this. This is a 4-panel for snowfall accumulation. Obviously, it's very, very light, but they all are in agreement of some kind of little bit of a light dusting. And remember, we still have that upper level energy that's coming in. April says, yeah, our winters are mild. That was crazy because then in 2014, we had that thunder sleet storm. I will never forget that. 2021, we did have cold precipitation, and it did get really cold, but that was a couple of days before Christmas. It was actually December 21st. So it warmed up above freezing and nothing happened. So here's the deal on this system on Thursday. I don't believe there's winter precipitation widespread, but I do think there is some semblance of a possibility. And in fact, one of the higher resolution models that we're still trying to implement into our system, I think there could be a little bit of winter weather. Now, this is what we've got throughout the rest of this week. Here's this system coming in Thursday morning into the afternoon. I actually do have a 20% for Thursday. Now, remember, this isn't exactly perfect because you might remember the European barely had any precipitation today from last week. And that obviously didn't come to fruition. It was underdone. And underdone because of, Baja Blast energy coming in for the Southwest. This does show a little bit happening, and there you can kind of see a little band that comes in Thursday night. So I still have a 20% in there, and then it's gone. We'll look at the GFS model and take a look at that. This is a little bit of a wider view. So there's the energy that came in today. And I think it even has that little band, but it doesn't have it far enough south because it's not high enough resolution. And then as we go into our Tuesday afternoon quiet, Wednesday, there is a front coming in Wednesday night. And boy, it's really going to drop the temperatures. And then that doesn't have much at all. So originally it had more, now it has less, and that's what you get with long-range deterministic forecasting. However, I will say that I do agree there will be some winter precipitation Thursday night. I've got it in there into Friday morning. It's in my forecast. I've got the 20% in there. Other than that, that's about our only chance of winter precipitation throughout the rest of this forecast period. So if we take a look here, I'll bring this up. Here is the precipitation potential for Northwest Arkansas. See, I got a 20% in there for Thursday and Friday. Too much uncertainty to go higher than that. Oh, yeah, because it's cold. Put the money in the Salvation Army buckets for sure. Those people that are ringing the bells now. I'll never forget that 2021 storm. Yeah, if I'm not wrong, it was like minus 30 and snowing. So that was Valentine's Day, February 14th of 2021. Super cold. And then on top of that, February 16th, it snowed again, and it was really cold. That was a big-time cold snap. Typically, if you look at the averages, we don't get our first accumulating snow over an inch. That doesn't happen until really January or February. So it's typically after December. But, hey, here we are. Had a little bit of winter precipitation. Take a look at Mega Doppler again. Just a little bit of light snow that's falling. It's starting to fill in. See how it kind of fills in a little bit here and there. So I would not be surprised. And there you can see that energy moving in. There will be a little bit of light snow tonight that happens. Yeah. I thought it was December that happened. Well, there was December 2020, I want to say. No, I think it was December of 2021 too. Let me look real quick. I can check this out real fast and tell you. So stand by, I'll bring this up. And if it's worth looking at, I'll bring it up and share with you guys. Come on, load. Sometimes it takes forever to load up that F6 data. I want to say that major cold snap was in Okay, hold on just a sec. 2021. Yeah. Yeah, it was, let's see, min temp. Yep, it was December 20th, 21st, and then it started to warm up. But the big cold front came in. Let's see here, average temp, 15th. It was 2022, actually, when the big cold snap happened. Yeah, it was. It was the 22nd. Let me load this up. It was the 22nd. I didn't think it was a white Christmas here. It wasn't officially because I know the beard is gone. Goodbye, beard. It's the end of No Shave November. Let me bring this up real quick here. We'll load this up. So this is the F6 data. And so here's a look at the average temperature. So there's the cold front that came in on the 21st. And you can see us dropping down, and we had 6 degrees for the high. I'll look at the max temp. This is when we were 40 on the 22nd, and then we dropped down to 14. That was the high temperature on the 23rd. But it warmed up above freezing, and that snow melted on the 25th. And I don't think we just got a little bit of precipitation right there. Just a tiny little bit of snow, as you can see. 0.8, less than an inch, and then it was gone by Christmas Day because it warmed up above freezing. And it has to be exactly an inch. It has to be an inch or more, and so we didn't really see an inch. But if we look at February of 2021, here's that cold snap on Valentine's Day. So if we look at the max temp, right here, man, did it get cold. And then we also had a little precipitation. So there you got it right there. The 12th, the 13th, and the 14th. 14th, Valentine's Day, was cold. And the min temperature was down to minus 20 on the 16th. So this is when it was really cold. And then we didn't have any precipitation on that. Whoops. Yeah, we did. We had a ½ inch of snow, even though it was 20 and minus 20. It's the coldest temperature ever recorded at Drake Field's history, beating out the 2021 or 2011 February 9th into the 10th. See, there's minus 18. So that used to be the record cold temperature, but now the record cold temperature is in fact minus 20 back in 2021. That is, man, I remember that. That was really cold. That was bad too. We got really cold. We stayed below freezing. I hated that. Look at that. So many days where we didn't even climb above freezing. Now that's when you got some cold weather. So, yep, and that's when the 2021 life-threatening snowstorm happened too. Was that exactly? So let's see what happens. We don't know about a white Christmas. It's too far out for that. I do know an additional light band of snow will be possible later on this evening, between about 6 o'clock in the evening in our western counties, going until probably maybe I would say midnight, probably ending around midnight. So a few slick spots could be on the roads. The 2 feet of snow that we had, that was a big one. That happened on February 9th of 2011. Such a massive snow. But you won't be able to go sledding with this snow. It's not going to be enough. But anyways, hey, I'll have the latest forecast. I got to put together my show. I just wanted to provide that quick update for you. You guys have a great rest of your December 1st, Monday evening. And I'll be back if that snow happens. I'm the only one in here, so I'll be able to kind of give you a radar update tonight. 20 inches of snow would be nice, but that was pretty rare. But it could always happen again. Not tonight, but it could. So you guys have a good night. I'm gonna rest the voice here, and I'll do another update if needed. But take care. God bless, and we will see you on the news tonight if you guys are watching. Thanks for watching. Bye.